Oh, we are so back, hunters. Can't you guys feel it? The entire community is so electrified. Sky Sensei here, guys, and I am so hyped for Monster Hunter Wilds, and I hope you are too. Before we jump into today's video, I just want to say it's so amazing to see the Monster Hunter community back and excited. Rise was a wonderful time, but many of us are from the World days. You know, COVID and Monster Hunter World grew this community so much. It was one of the best games we could have asked for during the pandemic, and I know for sure many lifelong friendships emerged because of Monster Hunter World. So, for Wilds, right on the precipice here, I am aiming to be back for Wilds release as well. I'll be making all the videos right here on the channel, but I can't wait to hunt with you guys and support the community again. Anyway, let's get on with it now. Let's grab our feathered friend and jump into today's video. Now, of course, as the Glaive Sensei, I have to start off with the Glaive Impression video, and I am just as much as in love with this weapon as I was 6 years ago. The Wilds Glaive is very versatile. Now, it is a beta, keep that in mind. Things may change, but realistically, you know, how you feel with this beta is probably how it's going to feel in the main game. We might get a couple extra skills to unlock maybe. So I won't go in huge detail here. I think there's a lot to cover which may require a more detailed breakdown video, which I'll release when Wilds releases, so be sure to subscribe. But yeah, they have changed quite a bit, and I am all here for it. So the two words I'd use to describe this Wilds Glaive: versatile and different. A lot of us are coming from a lot of hours in Rise, you know, so you're going to feel a little bit sluggish when you try this glaive. It's not bad by any means, but Rise was a very fast-paced, aerial-focused game, and with that, we saw the most agile and aerial-focused glaive we will probably ever see in Monster Hunter. Wilds, as the sequel to Monster Hunter World, has gone back to the roots, so it's more of a ground and combo-focused weapon, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. What I actually want to start off with, guys, is this charge aspect. This is something new, it's different. In the past, we've always had this distinction of light and heavy weapons, and once you get the red buff, you have an enhanced light and heavy attacks. At least in the past, I mean like World and Rise. In Wilds, the red buff now actually doesn't grant you that enhanced, faster combo. You actually need all three buffs in order to use those fast, enhanced attacks. The red buff now offers a charge aspect. So if you hold the heavy attack button after getting the red buff, you'll charge your blade, and it glows for 3 quick levels, and when you release, you go into an altered heavy attack. Now on the ground, this attack is similar to the Tetraseal skill from Monster Hunter Rise. It's a multi-hit swinging and miss, you know, swinging around kind of combo, and you're kind of stuck in that animation for a quick second. In the air, the charged heavy attack is now the all-famous downward thrust, or actually it's been renamed as descending thrust now. Actually, maybe it was always descending thrust. I actually can't remember what it was in World. Either way, it's the thrust attack that we've always longed for. You know, in Rise, we were a little bit limited with the wire bug. They've kind of found like an in-between now. You know, you can't use it right away, but it's not also limited by a wire bug. So it's kind of a charge system that falls right in the middle. And I think it's beautiful. If you don't hold the heavy attack button, you can still do the original heavy attack combo on the ground. And in the air, you can do the fast jumping swing that brings you back to the ground really quickly. But this charge aspect really makes for more complex gameplay, which I love, with a little bit more control, right? So as I was saying, like before we had to recover, we had to wait for a wire bug to recover. Now you can continually assess the situation and charge your glaive while dodging and light attacking. And then you can decide if you have the space for the riskier animation locked attack. And yes, you heard me right. The charge can carry over like you see here. You can charge while doing a light combo attack, hold that heavy attack button, and then release. And you do what is known as the descending slash. At least from the ground. From the air, we know it as the descending thrust. So I love this. We've got now a super attack that comes from the air, and we have a super attack that comes from the ground. It makes for such a good feeling. Now, unlike World that didn't really have sort of a, you know, a final attack for the insect glaive, in Wilds, you can actually take this skill one step further. If you have all 3 buffs after completing either the descending slash from the ground or the descending thrust from the air, you can use focus mode and do a heavy attack, and that'll launch you into what is called the rising spiral slash. This is, from what I've seen so far, the ultimate glaive attack. It consumes all your Kinsect buffs and sends you into an upward spiraling attack. While you're doing this, your Kinsect also dances around you, damaging as well. The good thing here is that whatever body parts the Kinsect touches, it gains those buffs back. So in theory, or actually not even in theory, you guys can see it right on the screen here, you can gain all 3 buffs back if you're in the right position. As you can see here, during the charged attack, the Kinsect actually opens up and has 3 slots for 3 buffs. So this is a very position-based skill. I've had situations where, all 3 buffs are red because I was standing right at the nose of the monster. But in reality, most of the time you will probably get 2 buffs back. It's almost guaranteed to get 2 buffs back, unless you're like me and you stand at the nose of the monster, which is not the right place to launch this attack from. Anyway, very cool attack. You'll most likely get 2 buffs back, sometimes 3. Very handy to just keep the flow of the fight going. So moving on from this point here, I want to take another point about this final attack. It also helps you recover your Kinsect buffs, right? It is a quick way to keep the flow of that hunt going. However, it may be risky. Sometimes, with certain monsters, you can't use this attack, right? It's a final attack that comes after another attack, so you need a big window to actually use it. So you might not be able to use this. Thankfully, Capcom has included other ways to gain your Kinsect buffs back. Capcom has included a charged Kinsect harvest attack, which is really cool. They've brought this back in a different aspect. So instead of just how you would normally aim your Kinsect and launch it, have it hit a body part and come back to you with that buff, if you hold the light button attack while aiming your glaive's butt will now glow white after a second. White indicates that the Kinsect is charged, and when you release, your Kinsect will travel in a straight line from whatever angle that you aim it and pierce the monster. During this charged form, it will pick up any buff that it hits in that direct line. So instead of just the one and then bouncing away and then you gotta bring it back, now it'll hit everything that it is in its path. Additionally, as you can see here, during charged form, the Kinsect actually opens up and has 3 slots. So in theory, at the right angle, you can grab all 3 buffs like so. Like even here, I'm getting the orange buff from the Chotacabra, which is a painful buff to grab. If you haven't fought this monster, it's a very protected, it's right in its stomach area. Now, of course, this is a beta, so maybe just this Kinsect can grab 3. Normally in past games, Kinsects can grab 1 buff at a time, but we won't know until the full game if they've changed the official default to now grab 2, and then grab 3 while charged, or if some Kinsects will only be able to grab 1 and then 2 buffs at charge. Either way, it's a lovely addition. There's also another way to grab quick buffs. You can also use the focus mode and light attack to quickly sweep your Kinsect and grab a buff. So if you're missing just 1 buff after a rising spiral slash, say like the white buff or something, and it's a quick and easy body part to hit, you can quickly use focus mode, aim the body part, and then grab your buff, and then you're good to go to get back into the hunt. So Wilds is offering Glaive players so much versatility to maintain your buffs, and in theory, I think a lot of you guys will be able to maintain 100% uptake after some practice in most of your hunts. So overall, I have a very good impression of this Glaive. I love it. Yes, it's a little bit slower than Rise, but compared to Iceborne, I think it offers more versatility. It's not a straight, descending thrust, rinse and repeat, descending thrust, rinse and repeat. We have multiple ways to maintain the buffs now. We have a descending slash, which is the equivalent of the descending thrust or the downward thrust. So we have sort of a final attack from the air and then a final attack from the ground. We also have a super skill now that utilizes the buffs that was not there in Iceborne. We have seen this in past Monster Hunter games, but it wasn't there in Iceborne. So in terms of upgrading, they have done a good job of integrating this, and we now have a super skill that uses all the buffs. And we also have enhanced combos thanks to the new charge system. One more skill here that I didn't really have a chance to mention is the leaping thrust. Now this is a neat morph of several things we've seen in the past. It's got a good mix of the slinger burst from World with a directed thrust attack from Rise. So it's only available in focus mode. You leap forward and you stab a wounded area, and if you have slinger ammo available, your character will leap back and then launch a slinger attack. It's a very, very good skill to break wounds. I'm having a ton of fun with it. I recommend you give it a try, and it's very stylish. So, adding to that whole Glaive look, the Glaive is just so beautiful in this game. It's great! So once again, I'll say, I'm still in love with this Insect Glaive. Wilds is going to be so much fun. They've done a good job at enhancing the gameplay and upgrading the Glaive while still maintaining the core beauty of this weapon. So that's it from me, guys, in this quick impression video. Thanks for joining. I know there's a little bit more to this Glaive. Again, I'll go in more detail. Maybe I'll release some more videos for it, but I just wanted to give a quick overview to anyone that hasn't had a chance to play the beta yet. The Glaive is looking good. I'm going to enjoy it some more. I'm going to play the beta all weekend long. So if there's anything else you guys want me to look into, please leave a comment in the comments below. Let me know and I'll address it as soon as I can. thank you all so much. I miss you all. We'll be back soon on this channel here. So I'll see you out in the wild, guys. Take care, stay safe, and keep hunting. Sky Sensei is out.